Hi guys. Hi everyone. It's Wednesday night and we are here again for our live stream. How are you all? I'm going to give you all a minute to jump on the screen with us, and I am so happy to be back with you guys. This week just flew by, and we did a live stream last night. I wasn't here on my page, so it feels like it's been a while, but it actually feels like it was just happened, but we actually haven't been here for since Friday. It was Friday that the last time we did this together. So I'm just waiting to see if I can see my screen here so we can start. I can make sure that everybody's jumping on. Hold on one second. Let's give everybody a moment. And we have such a good show for you guys tonight. I know you guys are excited. Oh, there's everybody. Okay. So I know that you guys are going to be excited about this one. And if you have any small babies, new babies, if you're expecting, if you're planning a baby in the future, this is a show for you. And I have such an amazing guest, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But first of all, I just want to say hi. There's everybody. Okay, jumping on. So tonight is episode 117 of the My Baby Expert Show, and I am very proud to say that because we have just had so many amazing guests over the years, and just a fantastic group that has been here with us. Some of you guys for a long time, for years, and others that are brand new. So for those of you that are new, we always love to welcome new people. We always have a lot of new people. So I want you to go ahead and yes, hashtag 117. Cami knows what to do. Hashtag 117. And then if you're new, I want to know if you're new. So go ahead and just type in I'm new so everybody can welcome you properly. It's an amazing community of moms and dads, and we love to see all the new people. So go ahead and type in if you're new. And if you are new, that means that you don't know me very well, do you? So I'm going to give you just a quick introduction of myself so that you understand who I am and what I'm doing here. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, again, my name is Sherry Creso, and I am a registered nurse. I'm a certified nurse midwife. I am an international board certified lactation consultant. I've been taking care of moms and dads and babies for over 25 years in just about every capacity. I've delivered over 600 babies in my own practice, and I also do lactation consulting now, teaching, and mostly online. And so that's how you guys know me, is from being here with me for these amazing live streams. And I'm just so happy to see you every single week, and sometimes even sooner. All my classes are available online for any of you guys who need that education. You can find it, and we're building some amazing stuff. As you can see, and many of you have noticed, there's some new stuff that we're doing where we're having the registration. You guys are getting announcements. Have you guys been getting your announcements? Did you get your email this morning reminding you about today's show? And do you love having the announcements? There's all the new people. Hi, new people. Yes, awesome. Okay, Alyssa, it's your second event. I'm so happy to have you back. I'm glad you came back. I guess you liked it. I'm so glad. So anyway, so we have all kinds of classes for you available, and I just wanted to give you a quick update because Friday we had an awesome live stream on low milk supply. A lot of you guys were there. You all hung out with me for a long time as we went through all that content. And what I really did, I was filming my new breastfeeding module, and that's what it is. So a few of you have asked me, where is the live stream? And it is available right now. Joe's going to go ahead and put up the link. And Joe is my husband, my business partner, and he's the guy sitting in the room next to me, posting as me. So when you see me posting, it's not me, it's Joe, but he's going to be updating you on everything that you need, okay? So he's going to go ahead and put up a link for Friday's live stream. Did you guys enjoy the low milk supply module? Because we're going to be doing a lot more filming right in front of you in a live audience. I figured I will let you come in and film with me, and it's been really fun. So, okay, let's move on because we have a lot of content. I see a lot of people have jumped on now. One more thing I want to announce is our amazing partner that I love so much, that I've been working with forever. It is Lullaby Earth, and they are a fantastic brand that creates non-toxic sleep products for babies and children and adults. No, babies and children. So tonight we have the Lullaby Earth waterproof mattress pad that we're going to be giving away as a prize. And in a little while, I'm going to show you a video that I made for Lullaby Earth that describes the Lullaby Earth Breeze mattress and all the amazing features about the Breeze. And that's the pad. This is the pad that somebody's going to win. It goes over your mattress. It's waterproof. I'll get into all that. Okay. But if you want to win the prize tonight, you just need to like or love this post and comment here in this stream during the live stream. Tell me what you love about the Lullaby Earth Breeze mattress or mattress pads or any of the Lullaby Earth products. And also you have to make sure that you register. So this is something new to get used to. Make sure that you registered. Don't leave the live stream right now, okay, because you'll still have time after we're done to go back and register. But you need to register to be eligible to win the prizes, okay? So excellent. Yes, they are the best mattresses, Chelsea. They are. I love them. Okay, so let's keep going because I want to bring on my special guest. Like I said, we have a lot of content to go over tonight, really important topic, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Michelle Emanuel, okay? She is the creator of the Tummy Time method, all right? So let me just get on here for a second. Hold on. Where is Michelle? Michelle, did that work?
Yes.
There we are. Hi, Michelle. So happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Oh, welcome to the show. Everybody's jumped on. They're all really excited. They've all been like posting questions for us all week, and this is a topic that comes up so frequently. So I was so happy to have you as my guest tonight. And just before we get started, I just want to say I met Michelle a couple weeks ago in New York City. She was one of the speakers at the tongue tie symposium with Dr. Scott Siegel, who was also a guest of ours a couple weeks ago, a fantastic show about tongue and lip ties. And when I saw Michelle speak, literally, I was like sitting there going, I need to connect with that woman. She needs to be on the show. She needs to be talking to all you mamas and daddies out there, and she needs to like share all her knowledge. So I just loved meeting you, and I'm so glad that here we are sitting together.
Thank you.
So could you just tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started doing this, and what it is that you do so everybody knows that.
Okay, well, I've been a pediatric neonatal occupational therapist for 21 years now, and it's mostly been working with the pre-crawling baby. And I started out working in the NICU, and I did that for a long time. And then I transitioned to an outpatient caseload. And that's where I began to get experience more with babies who were typically developing but had problems with torticollis, plagiocephaly, and oral motor dysfunction, et cetera. And so I came from working with very fragile, medically complicated infants to working with healthier, heartier babies. And so I have both sides of that. And then seeing babies even transition into the developmental milestones and through the early childhood and doing outpatient. And now I worked at Children's Hospital in Cincinnati for 17 and a half years. And then I'm in private practice now. And I developed the Tummy Time method a long time ago, about 10 years ago, and I've been teaching it. And it's really a way to, empower and equip parents to do things that are fun and playful with their child. It's really beneficial from a neurodevelopmental perspective. And also just play, and that's another thing. So I really focus right now on the pre-crawling baby in my private practice. And I also I travel around and teach professionals how to work with babies who have oral motor dysfunction, and also tummy time professionals.
Fantastic. So amazing. Yeah. And I think it's one of those things that they don't necessarily get this information from their pediatricians all the time. They're not getting all the information that they need, which is why I felt like it was so important to have you on, because there's, moms are getting information in multiple ways. They're getting it from their doctors, they're getting it from their friends, and then they're looking on the internet. But, are they really getting the right information? And that's where I just feel like it's a great opportunity for us to kind of answer those questions, for you to just share your vast experience, obviously, around this particular topic. And it seems like anybody who has a baby needs to be thinking about this. So,
yeah, absolutely. So pregnant women, preparing to become parents, even if this is not your first time, having a baby, maybe even, learning more about that. And also two women who already have a baby, and then also two babies who are maybe struggling already, who's trying with tummy time, who are struggling. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you brought that up about the pediatricians, because in 1992, when we brought Back to Sleep on, they also introduced Tummy to Play. And that is a sister program to Back to Sleep. And so pediatricians knew that we needed to balance Back to Sleep with intentional tummy time practices. So all pediatricians are actually on board with tummy time right from birth, right after birth, and gradually building up the time and experiences as baby enjoys it. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Awesome. And so, I guess what you're saying is that when we started sleeping babies on their backs, we knew that we needed to kind of compensate for that time that they're not spending on their bellies.
Right, because prior to that time, babies were spending about half of their lives on their tummy and prone. And we haven't really quite weighed the neurodevelopmental consequences of not getting enough weight bearing on this front surface of our body, which is, another reason why tummy time is important intentionally, to have intentional tummy time experiences. But it's about having fun too, not about hard and struggle and babies crying and screaming and torture. It's actually, that's why I came up with a method, because after working with so many babies, literally thousands, of babies over these years, finding a way that's easy and simple and really works and is super effective. And it not only checks off the developmental box of, hey, we did tummy time and we're doing the developmental milestone, but actually helps the baby's nervous system to calm and regulate and to really feel good in their body. Babies are in this physiological flexion in the womb, and they're curled up and flexed. And part of what tummy time is the natural unfolding from that and learning about the other half of their body and extension.
Right.
And so that's what a lot of it is about. So that's why I came up with the method, because, and the other thing is, it's challenging for some babies. Okay. And so when it is, we want to look at it a little bit more carefully. We don't want to just brush it off, because we did look at babies and developmental milestones did change after we went to Back to Sleep. They delayed. Now we're okay with that if we're all about safety, right? And we're helping babies stay safe during sleep, but we have to work on it. So that's where the tummy time comes into play.
Right. Really important. And, there's people in the chat saying, that I didn't even know about tummy time till my baby was 2 months old. They may not have heard that this is an important thing. Or, they try it, it doesn't work one time, they never go back to it. And that's kind of what we're going to go over. So let's just start with maybe talk a little bit about how it's done. How is tummy time done? What's an ideal way to start this? So if they're watching, they have a baby.
So I actually cannot believe it. You caught me at one period of time where I don't have my baby with me. I can't believe I did not bring my baby, but I'm going to pretend like I have a baby here. But the whole thing is about letting the baby process it from a sensory perspective, first off. So we start by holding the baby up close to us and close to our body, and we lower the baby down. Now, the younger the baby, the slower we lower, the closer we are to the body until we lower them all the way down to their back. And the key is to get them really engaged socially while they're laying on their back first, to get them face animated, to get this connection going, maybe some eye gaze and maybe some cooing back and forth. Sometimes we'll do some belly massage. And then when the baby's ready, we'll just roll a little bit up to the baby's side. And then there's this period of time where I hang out at the side for a second, and the baby just naturally goes into tummy time. And we just wait and watch to see what the baby needs to do, because some babies will have their arms trapped. Some babies will immediately lift their head up. We'll just wait. If the baby does need our help, we'll offer that. If not, we'll just engage. Just have a good time with the baby. Once the baby reaches a level of it looks like something needs to change, we call that the peak of excitability. So there's either the breathing becomes more erratic or the movements get a little bit more. We're going to tuck an arm under, roll the baby out of tummy time, pick them up, and love on them.
And so this method that you have, is it something that is available that they could go to your website? Because you just went over a whole routine. And I know for a lot of people watching right now, they're like, wait, I didn't get all that. Is there a place where they could go to actually see the method or read about it?
Not yet, but
Not
that
yet.
sounds like a good it's a good project for me to do.
Okay.
I haven't done it just because there's so many other things to do and so many things on my plate that I'm already working on.
Yeah.
But maybe perhaps you've motivated me by doing this.
I'm sure the audience is saying, okay, so they're saying they can hear an echo. Joe, is there an echo?
Yeah, I was just writing it down.
And
Okay.
I can hear an echo too, which is
You can hear.
I can
Okay.
hear myself.
There's no way to take the headset off, is there? And then just use the microphone?
I'm willing to try it.
Let's try it because they're saying they're
I don't
hearing
hear an echo now, though.
do
Is it gone?
you guys hear an echo? Are you guys hearing an echo when Michelle speaks?
Now?
Can't hear it clearly. It's echoing, she's saying.
Okay, let me try it. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Let's try it. Somebody just said it's better now. So, no, put it back. Michelle. Put it back. No, and let's see. How about you? They're saying it's coming and going. Okay, let's give it a minute because there's actually a delay. So why don't you talk for a minute and then we'll see if it's still working.
Okay. Basically, it doesn't. You don't want to be too cookie cutter with it either, too. It's kind of like a framework to follow, but the basics of it is we lay the baby down, start them on their back, roll them, the minimally facilitated roll. It's done within what we call the zone of proximal development, which is just that little bit that baby does with your help. So you're just rolling very gently so that the baby's participating, and then you leave them there engage with them until they're ready to make a change.
Okay.
And I'm hearing the echo again.
You are.
Mm-hmm. But then you roll the baby out after they get the peak of excitability, and you pick them up and help them recover. Now, let's say the baby really was struggling, and then they only spent a few seconds in tummy time. Well, then we would roll them back in and out.
Okay. Awesome.
So very short periods of time until they build up gradually more and more practice with it.
Yeah. So it's something that as they strengthen their muscles, they're going to not only be able to do for longer periods of time, but also enjoy more, I'm assuming?
Yes. The first part of it is all about them enjoying it.
Okay. Awesome. There's a question that came in. Can I get some hearts, first of all? Let me just see if I can get some hearts going across the screen. Tell me if you're in. First of all, I want to see some hearts because I want to make sure that we're not getting the echo, that you sounds a little bit better. It may come and go. We've had some audio issues setting up for this live stream, so I apologize for that. But hopefully you're getting the meat of the conversation anyway. Yeah, there's the hearts. Okay, everybody's going in there. Okay, so Stephanie had a question. Stephanie is a viewer of ours that is on all the time. She's probably here. I just can't see it there. She says, does the amount of tummy time the baby need increase with age? I try to get 30 minutes of tummy time throughout the day with my 4-month-old, and while he tolerates it much more now, he still doesn't love it. I'm not sure if I can get him to do much more.
Yeah, I wouldn't focus on time at all. I would just focus on engaging him in play and then also trying to see if he can balance the effort of pushing down and lifting up with the ease of laying the head down and yielding to the surface and just taking a break. Because if he's not able to balance the effort and ease, we can help him with that by encouraging him to lay his head down and take a break.
And is there a particular age that you would start this?
Start tummy time?
Mm-hmm.
Right away. And the baby's natural first tummy time is the breast crawl, right after birth. When you everybody knows for the human infant, for the mammal, you don't place the baby on its back to do a breast crawl. It can't mobilize. It can't reach the source of nutrition. It can't connect with the mother. We place it on its belly to belly with the mom, and that's a natural habitat for the baby. And the baby actually uses reflexes and scent and touch and movement to really literally crawl along the mother's body and self-attach to the breast. And so that's the first tummy time. And that's the first natural tummy time. And every time, babies love to be held. What's the one thing we know about babies? They love to be held. Well, that's tummy time because we're chest to chest. We're on the front surface of our body. So that's why we should hold our babies a lot too. But the thing to think about with intentional tummy time in a back sleeping culture, especially, or with babies that have torticollis, plagiocephaly, complex oral dysfunction, tethered oral tissues, head preference to one side, digestive function, delayed gastric emptying, reflux, aerophagia, which is air swallowing, any of those things, okay, or just irritability, then we want to do it a little bit differently, right? We want to do a little bit more in a therapeutic way.
Yeah.
So that's the thing too, these small doses to help that can actually, and that's actually when we look at the literature too, let's go back to the pediatricians. What the literature shows about tummy time is that there's reflux is least in that position when they compared it to other positions. Tummy time is the best. And also the best position for emptying the stomach into the intestines is tummy time. And then developmental skills are more consistently found when we do some tummy time. But I would keep back focused on how well the baby's doing rather than how long. Because I've always said if you focus on the quality, you're going to get the quantity.
Gotcha. So interesting what you just said is, one of the best times to put the baby on their belly, on their tummy would be after eating, is what you're basically saying.
Absolutely.
For reflux, for gastric emptying, which I think maybe, the opposite of what moms may think is like putting them on their belly may not be the best thing.
Right.
But tummy time would be good after a meal.
Yes, it is. And it consistently is shown that even in the research. Now, initially when you first start that, if you have a lot of reflux, you may bring up a little tiny quarter, 50-cent piece size, but that's just getting adjusted. But the sphincters need the input from the weight bearing in the surface, right, in order to function appropriately, to have the right kind of muscle tone to hold the contents in and to propel it in the right direction. So right after a meal, we'll get a burp. But if you don't get all the burps out, you start them on your back though. Don't just plunk the baby down onto their tummy from that position because that elicits protective responses and actually puts the baby into a defensive mode. And that's not a great time to do anything new. So that's why a lot of babies have troubles because we just put them there so fast and they're not really ready for it. They're in a defensive way, whereas we lay them down and we get them softened up through social interaction, then we can roll them in and they like it. And we roll them out when they need a change and we pick them up and help them recover. When do you lay the baby back down is when you see the baby has a facial expression that's relaxed, and then you can lay them back down and roll them in and out. So if a baby's like doing a very small bit of tummy time, then we roll them out about 4 to 5 times each tummy time session.
Awesome. Could you just maybe step back a little bit and explain, I don't know if we went over this in detail, just the benefits, like the true benefits to the body of like tummy time, so people could get a context of like why we know we need to do it, but exactly what is happening in the body and why.
Okay, that's a great question. Well, one of them I alluded to earlier, where the baby is curled up in the mom's womb into flexion. Okay, and all of these little joints have very soft tissue restrictions at the big joints for bending. And that's included in our hips and in our shoulders, and the babies are like this. So one of the things about tummy time and what it does in the first 3 to 6 months of life is that it opens that up, and it's the opposite of that. So rather than flexion, it's extension. Okay, so that's one big thing. The other one is that babies are in the womb like this, and so it's a big thing for them to unpack the tongue and to have full tongue function and head and neck movements, because that's one of the baby's first important things in tummy time, because babies develop, we develop, humans develop in a cephalocaudal manner, meaning our head first and our butt last. Okay? So our head development happens first, and that means that our babies have very sophisticated head and neck turning, orienting reflexes, mainly to the primary source of nutrition in the mother, right? But to other loving caregivers as well.
Awesome.
And so we want that to be yes to both sides, and that nurturing bond and connection, right? That's all part of it too.
Yeah.
And so one of my big things is bringing back the breast crawl. Because even those of us, like you're a midwife, and so you're in that birth world too. And I love all of that about birth. And I even noticed, though, that my clients and my experiences, even with the home birth community, which I love interacting with and working with, I don't really see a full breast crawl a whole lot of the time. And so just bringing back the importance of that and how important that is to get the baby prepared for the first meal. You know, much like our digestive systems can digest our food better when we make it and we smell it and we're stirring it and it's bubbling and it's all around us and it prepares us to digest our food.
Yeah.
Same thing with the baby. They need to crawl and move their body, and we don't need to feel sorry for the baby and like, oh, I wish they didn't have to do so much work to get on the breast. Like, this is what we're meant to do, and this is what the baby's brain longs to do, right?
Absolutely.
And so the other thing about tummy time is that, you know, we hear a lot about reflexes. It's a kind of a big word right now, but one of the things that I designed the tummy time method to do, because I tried to hit every mark I thought I ever had with a baby and needed to do with a therapeutic level. And this is applied to typically developing babies all the way to babies who are having some, you know, neuromotor abnormalities. This is a whole big long line of babies, was to promote autonomic regulation. So the baby to have calming strategies, for the baby to feel comfortable in all positions in their body, right? To be able to move unrestricted. So that's the other thing about tummy time. But I designed it to both, you know, elicit, utilize, and integrate all of the postural, oral, and primitive reflexes. So that happens in the first 6 months of life too, to prepare the baby for crawling and sitting and mobility. Fantastic. So that was another big part of it. Because a lot of us maybe have heard about school age children who have trouble with unintegrated reflexes, and this all stems back to this early 6 month period where we were developing this or not. And so many babies are struggling right now with complex oral dysfunction and oral restrictions.
Just explain what that is for the audience, because I think that not everybody refers to it, to their oral restrictions and.
So tethered oral tissues are, you know, we used to just call it tongue tie, but now we know it's not, you know, just the tongue tie, but, you know, the lip tie, and then perhaps even in the buccal space, there are some restrictions in here that could be inhibiting optimal oral function. So that needs to be properly evaluated, though, by a knowledgeable, experienced, educated provider, okay? And that's a lactation consultant or an oral motor feeding specialist of sorts, you know, along those lines. And then complex oral dysfunction is just babies who are born where the tongue is just not moving fully. Okay, the tongue has a very sophisticated, when you look at optimal tongue function in a baby that's not having any oral dysfunction at all, the tongue does a lot of sophisticated things. It extends, it lateralizes, it cups, it does this peristaltic, you know, like motion. And it elevates, you know, it goes up into the roof of the mouth, and it helps to form the palate. We need that tongue up there suctioned really good. And that's not happening a lot. We see babies with their mouths open and mouth breathing, or even just slack jaw. And so that's another reason why tummy time is important, because, you know, there's another study that was done that showed that babies that had some jaw problems, they were small or retracted, and they had some airway issues, they did best in prone. That makes sense, because then we're using gravity to bring everything forward to help us to get, you know, all of the access to our head and neck. So that's really another big piece of it. And then the digestive piece I was talking about. So we've got developmental milestones, we've got the digestion, we've got the play element. Okay. So what are we to do? We have these babies and they come out, we plan so much to have them. And now what do we do during the day? You know, we're going to nurse them, we're going to love them, but we can start playing. And what that relationship looks like is, and even very attached parents love getting down on the floor, because tummy time is a co-regulated thing. We're doing it together. We're not leaving babies alone to do anything, and it's a connected thing. So we're there together, and I like to incorporate siblings. I like to incorporate pets. And if you're on Instagram, go to @TummyTimeMethod, and there's some adorable pictures of pets and babies. And if you have a baby that you'd like to be featured on that gallery, let me know and send it to me, and we'll get you up on that gallery.
I think I actually have a picture of my baby when she was a baby. She's 15 now with my dog. I may send it to you so you can post it.
My favorite one, and I'm not allowed to say favorites because I love so many babies, but the one with the pig, with the baby in tummy time, they have a pet pig, and this is just absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, it's for that. It's for the reflexes. It's for optimal development. It's for postural. So, part of this, first 6 months is about being able to develop our posture and gravity, and gravity is a new force to the baby. They're aquatic creatures. They come out, and we've forgotten about gravity. Here we are, and we're upright against it, and they're like, whoa, this is wild. And they're getting used to moving their bodies and outside of that experience, So
Yeah.
that's another thing that Tummy Time does. And it's just one of those things that I can't stop talking about, And the other thing I think that really is important is that it really does nurture the social nervous system. Now, what in the world is the social nervous system? It's just those parts of us that connect us together, that help me feel connected to you, that help us feel love, that help us feel like we have meaning and purpose.
Yep.
And those are done through our eyes, the facial expression muscles, through our vocal apparatus, through our ears and listening, and our throat. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the social nervous system. And when you work with that with a baby and you nurture that, naturally what follows is easy development and cognition and all those learning smart pants, things for babies, because I'm kind of against teaching babies how to read and all this stuff early. Because what we really want to do is the babies have this very sophisticated social emotional skills.
Yeah.
And so to nurture that and get that, because they could teach us lessons, right?
Yep.
About connecting. And they're really present with that. And to nurture that, because if that is an easy thing to do, then the learning piece comes easier, and it just like ripened fruit from a tree just pops off into your hand. And then you're not yanking it off.
I love that, because really when you think about it, baby's nonverbal. So they're not able to do all that with words. They're doing it with everything else about them. And it's just emanating from them. And anybody who's with a baby, you can feel that, when they're interacting with you, when they're smiling, when they're looking into your eyes, when they're, making new sounds that don't have meaning but have lots of meaning. And it's just right? It's so cool. When you're describing it that way, it totally makes sense. Makes so much sense. Love it.
Yeah.
Hey, so by the way, we didn't mention that Michelle's giving away one as one of the prizes tonight. Someone's going to win a private my phone makes this noise. Someone's going to win a private Skype consultation with Michelle. So that's very exciting. And I know they're going to be very excited with that. Let's get some hearts going across the screen. So you enter the same way as you do for the Lullaby Earth mattress pad. Just love the post here, comment, and tell me why, and tell Michelle why you want a consultation. And then make sure that you registered on the link that Joe provided for everybody. It's also in the post afterwards, so someone's going to win that. I'm just going to take a quick break to talk about the Lullaby Earth for a minute. It's such a great product. Again, I've been working with them for so long, and it's so important. Babies spend a lot of time sleeping. They're in their cribs. They're, throughout for years. And one of the things that's so important to consider is to make sure that those mattresses, because I'm not, not everything has to be organic. Not everything has to be, you don't have to worry about everything, but there's certain key things that are just critical. And the mattress that the baby is laying on, has to be toxin free, has to be free of flame retardants and all those other things that off gas, and the baby's breathing it. They're spending a lot of time there. So the Lullaby Earth just makes this great waterproof mattress with a mattress cover, a pad that's actually the prize tonight. You can use this pad actually on any mattress. And what's so nice about it, it's breathable. And that means that it's creating a 360-degree airflow around the baby. So, babies get hot and sweaty. Anybody have a sweaty baby? If you have a sweaty baby, comment here and tell me I have a sweaty baby, because babies get really sweaty. And one of the things that we know is we want to keep them cool. We want to try to prevent overheating. We want to try to create as much air circulation to the baby. And so in addition to being toxin free, in addition to being completely waterproof so that you're not growing mold or dust mites or anything getting into the mattress. They pee, they puke, they poop, they do all these other things. You want to be able to clean it off really easily. In addition to that, it's creating that circulation and that breathability, which I really love. And I made this video for them that I would like to show right now. And I'm also going to show off my technical skills by playing the video. So hang on for a second, everybody, while I play the video and you guys can see some of the awesome features. So give me 1 minute while I do this. Hold on. Okay. So videos, and there we go. Practical, safe design means breathable comfort for your baby. Lullaby Earth does breathability right. When it comes to the health and safety of your baby, compromise is not an option. The 3D airflow fabric of the Lullaby Earth Breeze maximizes airflow between your baby and the mattress. This air circulation dissipates heat and moisture to reduce overheating and sweating. Nobody likes a sweaty back after a nap. The breathable surface allows babies to stay cool and dry while they sleep with comfortable air circulation from head to toe. Experts recommend that you put your baby to sleep on their back, but if they roll over, they can breathe through the surface of the Breeze. The Breeze is lightweight at only 8 pounds, and the breathable waterproof pad is removable and machine washable. You can put your baby right back to sleep on the mattress even if the pad is in the wash. Patented waterproofing made without harmful chemicals protects your baby and your crib mattress from contamination. Waterproofing is very important because it keeps the mattress safe from bacteria and mold growth. The Breeze was designed by parents and scientists to include all of the most important chemical and physical safety features. Lullaby Earth crib mattresses are made without flame-retardant chemicals, which can be hazardous to your baby's health. The mattress is designed with ideal support for growing infants and toddlers. Babies need a firm, flat mattress surface for safety. Reinforced edge support stands up to bouncy toddlers. With Lullaby Earth, you can finally rest easy. Visit Lullaby Earth to learn more about how to do breathability right. All right, hold on. Let me get the screen back to where I need to be. Excellent, excellent. Well, there you go. Are we muted? Hold on. Can you hear me there?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. We're good. We're all good. All right, and I think we're in there. Yep, it's back. Excellent. Well, that was a little video I made for all. Yeah, it does look amazing. If you guys want to win the Lullaby Earth mattress, it's the mattress pad. So it's the waterproof mattress pad. You can use it on your mattress. And if you're interested in the Lullaby Earth, Joe's actually just posted a link so you can go ahead and check them out. Highly recommend it. Like I said, one of the products that you don't need a lot for your baby, but you're going to need a crib mattress. Make sure it's a good one. I do have a question here, but I want to get back to Michelle, questions that got submitted. And one of them came in from Brittany. And Brittany said, my baby has Down syndrome. She enrolled in the early intervention program with the state. Our specialist says that she can't get enough tummy time. Our daughter has had one appointment so far, and we were given a few tools to do with her until the next session. But what are a few tummy time activities that you recommend?
Okay, so one is doing it the way we talked about, which is to lower the baby down slowly, to get some social interaction going, roll the baby in, wait until it looks like the baby needs a change, roll out, pick up, and do that over and over. But the other thing would be to do some modifications. So that would be over a physio ball. So if you have a birthing ball, you can put the baby on top of that and do some tummy time there. You can do over a boppy pillow or on your lap or over your arm. And so on your chest is a great one too. And if we're going to still work on, when we're holding babies up here on our chest, that's really good tummy time, but that's not a whole lot of gravity, right? There's not a whole lot of pressure on the surface. So we need to take a break and lay back and relax and get really laid back and let baby get some challenges, because the weight of the head is the thing we're trying to learn to pick up and turn, right? And so I am so excited to talk about this. But just recently there was a research article published in a pediatric physical therapy journal specifically about babies with Down syndrome and doing intentional tummy time, and showed that their milestones were actually better when we did intentional tummy time, therapeutic tummy time, meaning doing it several times a day for, a certain length of time. And so that's really exciting to know that we can actually build strength, right, and endurance, and have that be a part of the developmental milestones. And it's just a really great kind of natural way of developing through, because we're supposed to be doing it anyway.
Right.
The other thing about when we have babies, and traditionally babies with Down syndrome, if you're not familiar, is that they have lower muscle tone. Like there's certain things where there is low muscle tone. There's other indications and conditions where there's low muscle tone too. But that is where we want to, it takes a little bit longer sometimes to build the strength. Okay. So maybe more frequent, shorter bursts of tummy time.
Right.
Thinking about every diaper change, and you change diapers 8 to 10 times a day, rolling the baby over for just a tummy time minute during the diaper change and rolling out. So that's already adding 10 minutes a day and more frequent, shorter periods of time where we can build strength and endurance.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. And I want to tell you, Brittany, I'm gonna give away 2. Actually, I'm gonna do the one we talked about, and I'm gonna give Brittany one. So I'm gonna add that.
That's so great. Awesome. Okay, yeah. I'm sure she's gonna be so happy about that. Brittany, if you're watching, Michelle's gonna. Oh, she is. I see her in the chat room. She said, "Thank you for answering her question." She's just about to hear now. There's a delay. Brittany, Michelle's gonna do a private Skype consult with you, so she's gonna be giving away an extra consultation. That's very generous. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome. So one of the questions, and I'm sure we kind of covered this, but I'm going to go ahead and let's go through the question and we can answer it a little more specifically, because this is the one that I think I hear a lot of. It came from Jenny, and she said, my 5-month-old hated being on her tummy. She just cries. Do we really have to torture her with it? It just makes us feel so bad for her. We still do it, but only for like a minute. She's okay being elevated on a pillow or something. So, I hear this all the time from parents saying, I feel like I'm torturing my baby. Do I really need to do this? And then the whole idea of what about a pillow? Because I saw other people posting about that in the chat too.
Yeah, that's a great question. And see, this is the thing too. After this, you can totally free yourself from timing anything, so you're just going to do what your baby likes to do, and it is not torture. And we're actually going to back them out of tummy time before they're crying, before it gets too much, before it gets overwhelming. And we create what's called procedural memory. When we roll the baby out at that peak of excitability, that time when something needs to change, you notice their breathing starts to get more, or they're start to move a little bit more frantically. We move them out, we pick them up. They get this procedural memory that every single time it happens this way, it's just becoming familiar with the landscape, and you can do things easier, and we're learning, and then you can anticipate it, and that calms them down right away. Because the thing of it is, it's a little bit challenging, because the baby's body, especially newborns and under 3 and 4 months, their head is the heaviest part of them.
Right.
And when you're 8 weeks and under, you don't have head control. You're just learning to pick up your head. So this generates a lot of energy, and a lot of babies were packed in the womb very tightly and in a one preferred way. So I would say every single baby that I've ever met, and I can't even tell you how many I've met for real, because I've seen so many babies, has a head turning preference to one side. So let's just go with that. Okay, every baby. So we want to be in a back sleeping culture a little bit more excited about paying attention to what side our baby likes to look to, because we need to intentionally balance that, because we're in a back sleeping culture. If your baby always looks to the right, that's going to come in problems, okay? And create an imbalance in between the sides. So we want to intentionally turn the baby's head to the other side. They're still on their back for sleeping.
Yeah.
But then we're going to balance that out during the day by offsetting all the back sleeping with the intentional tummy time spread throughout the day. And so don't worry about the timing. I love doing it on the boppy pillow. I love doing it on elevated surfaces, on the ball, on even a beach ball. And just more time doing it, the baby will gradually want to do more. Because by the time a baby's about 6 months old, they prefer to be on their tummy. And anybody ever trying to change a 6, 7, 8-month-old's diaper you know this. You're trying to change the diaper and they're rolling away. Okay?
Yes.
And that's really what we want. And so, we're looking for that to be happening as well. That there's an intrinsic desire to get in this position on their own. And some babies get that a lot earlier.
Right.
Okay. And some babies, it's a little bit later. And there is no one set time to get anything. So that's the other thing I want to say about tummy time method, is not about rushing the acquisition of developmental milestones. It's about meeting the baby where they are and helping them, because if a baby doesn't like tummy time and they feel like it's torture, there's something we need to address. Where there's something we want to help the baby with. So sometimes that's neck tension. Sometimes that's the head turning preference. Sometimes we haven't quite opened that area up, or there's a shoulder that's still really elevated from being in the womb and the baby's a month old and we don't even know, because babies are cute and they just look like this, and in their pictures they look like this. And it's not usually until 4 or 6 weeks when we realize, oh my gosh, this baby hasn't moved its shoulder, And so we're really working on, and that's the other thing about rolling the baby in and out, is it's sort of like a shoulder massage every time you go in and out of the shoulder. But take your emphasis off of how much. Just do the little bit that the baby. And at 5 months, we engage play. So you want to get a baby safe mirror. So the baby, they love to look at themselves in the mirror. They love to mimic your facial expressions, and the sillier the better. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff, raising your eyebrows, squinting your eyes, even playing peekaboo, that type of thing is really fun. And actually, babies really, we're sort of a hardy lot, as humans. Like, we're ready to learn. We're soaking it up. We're a sponge. And that's true about babies too. So, I like getting them to watch, a target, going across. And that's really fun, because they like pairing the head and the neck movements. That really makes it fun and adds an element to fun. And then when we engage them that way, they're in tummy time and they're looking and they've got they're playing. And so it's not so much about working, and it takes the emphasis all that. So that's where the nuance of this program really is. And also too, saying every single thing that your baby's doing in tummy time is awesome. But we do want them to have a good time, and we do want it to be regulated, and we do want them to enjoy it and be a part of it. It's not something we're doing to the baby. It's something we're doing with the baby to help them.
Right.
And you know what? The incidence, okay, meaning how much of plagiocephaly, which is the head flattening. One side of the head's flatter than the other. So that means head molding. This is atypical head looking posture, okay? Half of all babies have plagiocephaly. And so we know with that we need to get really big off that flat spot. Okay, and on the bulgy spot. We also need to do tummy time, because it's the muscles and the connective tissue pulling on the cranium which shape it and mold it and get the muscles and the tissue sliding and gliding, active movement. And there's no better way to do that, because if we lay a baby on their back in this, early 3-month and other period, they don't have a lot of reflexes for head turning, for posture. They just lay there. They can look. Okay, we've got vision. Okay, you can do that. They can turn their head with that. They can have a parent over here calling their name, Ruby, Anna. And so the baby will look. Those two reflexes. But if you're talking about posture and primitive reflexes and utilizing the big muscles, you have got to be belly to the earth. You've got to turn the baby over and let them experience weight bearing on this front surface of the body called the ventral surface. Ventral meaning front, dorsal meaning back. You've got to get the weight bearing in there. So then when you get the baby down, they have a reflex to turn and lift the head. This creates a nice open airway and head control, because babies have to do that by 8 weeks, really get their head, and start to try to figure out how to hold up this big head. And we don't want that to delay.
Yeah. And the
And we don't want the babies having a head lag. You know, that's the baby when you pull them up and they're like 10, 12 weeks old. They should tuck their chin and pull it up. And that's another reason why rolling them in and out is really good, because it helps to tone the muscles along.
Mm-hmm. And so the surface, is the surface important? Because what I'm hearing you say is like, if they're on a pillow, great. If they're on the floor, great. If they're on a bed with you, is that fine too? It's more about just being tummy to earth versus what surface they're on.
Well, I like changing the surface. You know, I like flexibility. I'm an occupational therapist, and like the hallmark of a good OT, I always tell every student I ever had, is flexibility. So I like variability, variety. I like to do it a lot of different ways. And so changing up the surface. But my favorite, my strict definition of what tummy time is on a blanket, on the floor, connected with a parent, you know, doing tummy time.
Right.
So what I like about the floor in particular is that, number one, it's flat surface. It's horizontal. You're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in gravity. Mm-hmm. 2, the firmness of the floor. Mm-hmm. Because there's, you know, forces that our bodies put into the floor, and then the floor gives us back, or the surface gives us back. And the firmer the surface, the more the impact, the more feedback. Just the difference in how you feel your body laying on your soft mattress versus laying on the floor.
Right.
We can feel ourselves more. Right. Because of the equal and opposite ground force reaction. But anyway, so that to be able to feel it gives it a bigger stimulus, a bigger input. So that is like the purest definition. But then we always modify based on what baby needs. And we're working, though, towards on a blanket on a floor, because it's floor time. It's child-led play. It's child-directed. It's attached. And, you know, many people, the other question sometimes comes up, well, I baby wear. So isn't that enough tummy time? That's the biggest probably question that I get. And I'll tell you this.
That was actually my next question that came in from Crystal. She said that she did it. So
Hi,
go ahead. Yeah.
Well, that's a great question, because baby wearing is one of my favorite things too. And I want to tell you, my youngest child is 14 years old, and so baby wearing in Cincinnati, which is where I'm at, is so wonderful. We have a wonderful community and leaders and professionals and beautiful women all over our city wearing our babies. But all I had was, like an ergo back in the day. Not saying that's bad, but they have this beautiful wraps now. And so I didn't really get in on the Mobies and all that, but I sure would now if, that were the case. But I even enjoyed baby wearing, way back then. But, and baby wearing is, I like to say, functional baby wearing is good. That means that making sure that you're noticing which side the baby prefers to turn their head and having them turn to the other side while baby wearing, so that they're not just in the head preferred side. So that also, too, when you are doing the baby wearing, that you're actually wearing the baby and moving your body in space. So you're dancing, you're cleaning, you're bending over, you're picking things up so that the baby is getting a stimulation. Because if you just walk around, really carefully and with the baby to their preferred side, it's not going to hurt them, because this is so much love coming across this, the body. But if we're going to try to help them develop and say, is this my tummy time? Let's have it be just a tiny bit, therapeutic. But we don't replace baby wearing with tummy time. We just do tummy time too. It's another way to connect with your baby. Okay. And so it's separate from baby wearing, and then you do it in addition to baby wearing, and it is just as connected because you're there with them, socially engaging, and perhaps you're laying in tummy time too, because guess what? Us moms need tummy time as well. All of us do. Getting on our tummies on a firm surface every day is good for our digestive health. Okay, it's good for our stomach emptying. It's good for our, just the sensory input to our body. And most of us are hunched over our computers or hunched over, and it really helps to open our bodies up. Yeah. And we can breathe and use our lungs and our respiratory diaphragm, and even find our own areas of head turning preference. And when I go to Bikram yoga and I'm like, I'm laying here on one side and it's just a lot, and this other side, it feels so good. So we all have these things, and they creep up on us. It's not like you get rid of them and then you're never like that again. Babies are like that too, because guess what? Baby at 2 weeks is way different than the baby at a newborn. They're bigger. The developmental expectations increase. So like we're talking about a 5-month-old, the expectations have increased way more than a 2-month-old in tummy time. So that's another reason why the 5-month-old has frustrations, because they're expected to do more. Their body, the natural, dynamic, biological imperative to develop is happening to that baby. That's inside. That's intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't replace it. If you are doing a lot of baby wearing and just a little bit of intentional tummy time, get the head to the non-preferred side, make sure the baby gets in there with good alignment, and that you move your body around to challenge the postural muscles and get the baby, doing some good movement. That's a great question, and I love that one.
It is a great question, and it definitely comes up often. And I think that if you can go from baby wearing to tummy time and back to baby wearing is a great place for your baby to be. And as little time as possible laying on their back in a car seat or in a stroller. That's the place where you want to keep them out of. And so many babies are just spending so much of their life on their back. Like you said, they've got flat head. They're sitting in those car seats. And not only that, not only the pressure on the back of the head and the lack of all the other benefits that you're talking about, but the idea that they really can't interact with their environment much when they're laying flat. They're looking up at the ceiling and they're not really seeing around them. So there's so much more to it.
Right, and that's so true. And I want to say one thing about part of the tummy time method is limiting containers and containment. So it's about, car seats are for cars only, and driving only. They're not for sleeping in, they're not for napping in, and they're really hard on babies' postural skills. And you'll notice that a lot of babies will be one way in the car seat. So we want to turn that too. That's another little technique that can help tummy time be comfortable, because I didn't get all the way through why tummy time could be, a struggle, but any kind of tension in the head or, sometimes just babies who have a lot of gas, because tummy time gets it moving, and it's a kind of a double entendre, because it's like, whoa, it's moving out, but this is really, alerting to the baby. Mm-hmm. So there's like the good and bad of that until they get used to it. And the baby's, over a few weeks of learning about gas and their digestive system, it does calm down, but at first the alert system is like big, right?
Right.
And it does it. I always hear this in my office when I do tummy time consults or when moms and dads are doing tummy time. I can't believe he did that. When we implement it this way, doing it really regulated, doing it really slowly, and having it be an interactional thing, and to help them transition out, when they're ready. The other thing I say here is, some people say we, shouldn't put babies in positions that they can't get in on their own. We should just wait until they get into tummy time on their own. And, that if anybody has ever worked with babies, they can see how a little bit flawed that logic is, because babies don't get into any position on their own, including on their back, including up to the breast, including in anywhere. We put the babies down. No one, a baby didn't ask to be diapered and on their back. They don't like it usually. Yes, the younger they are. So there's lots of positions that we put babies in they don't really love. But it's not about torturing too. It's about, especially if you start it early on and you do this really, and doing a lot of holding on your chest, that's pretty much the gold standard. But, doing it early on, they get used to it, and that's the way they're used to having everything done. And all those reflexes are properly stimulated along the way, instead of waiting until they're a month old or 2 months old when they have to catch up with all that. But that's another reason why it's hard for the 2-month-old that hasn't been doing it. But this is like a no guilt way too, because I have 3 kids. And that we worry and we'll guilt ourselves and whatever. I say, we're moms. We don't worry. We work. So here's just a way to work on it. And I've never met a baby, and I've been working and doing this a long time, that doesn't end up liking tummy time on some level, and who doesn't get better at it. Yeah. And it becomes something that's actually preferred. Yeah. Okay. And it takes some babies a little bit longer, and some babies it takes a really short period of time, but whatever. It's about the baby learning about how to be in their body and be comfortable in that really important developmental position. And it's not just important, again, for checking off those boxes, but it's important for our brain stem to develop, for the baby's cranial nerves to function optimally. They cannot move their tongues properly unless they get down, belly down to the earth. It just doesn't work well enough.
I think one of the big things that you just said again, but you said it earlier in the program, but you said it again, was that, the starting right from the beginning. And someone else just commented here, when do we start? like Michelle said earlier, you start at the birth. You're starting with the breast crawl. You're starting with skin to skin. You're doing it right there at the delivery. And then you're continuing that to keep on going with it. And it's not something that you say, okay, now it's time for some tummy time. The baby's 2 months old. I'm going to start tummy time. You're doing it throughout. And just like everything else, when the baby's used to being in that position, which
Right.
they're really born to be in that position. When you look at all innate reflexes, it's all meant to be in that position. If you just continue with that, I think it's going to just kind of make all of these issues that people are commenting about, asking about, worried about, this whole idea of the baby hates it. It's just not, and you follow Michelle's method of, just doing it small amounts and working up.
Right. And, that's the other thing too. The other reason why I made the method, even though it seems really simple, is because it is jam-packed with things that make sense from a scientific perspective. But the other thing of it is I worked at a children's hospital, a very high, wonderful children's hospital. So I worked with all of the OTs and PTs that were certified and everything really wonderful. And nobody had a specialty in tummy time and nobody was talking about it. So that's really how it developed from it, there not being something. And I'm noticing that there needs to be, because so many babies need help with it. And then the pediatricians, they're supposed to be on board, but they don't have any tools to tell you how. And, and they don't really know how. And so that's why I started training professionals. And so I've got a directory of professionals, and that's growing all the time. And I'm getting ready to do my first online cohort. So we're going to have people in India and Australia and New Zealand and the Middle East and Ireland. And so a lot of different people are learning so that we can get together and we can hook people up in different places. And because a lot of it is about getting moms together and practicing tummy time together and breastfeeding together and becoming friends and hanging out, because we really need to connect with other people who are going through those same life processes that we are. You have a young baby because then they get your life, they understand your life. And so, connecting people like that. And How would
somebody find like a tummy time method professional? Like if they were looking for someone in their area, they wanted to start seeing someone, how would somebody go about that?
TummyTimeMethod.com is the website where there's a professional listing.
Okay,
and
great.
It's going to be continuing to grow, and I'm going to be getting some online trainings too. And also too, I can do short Skype consults, and I'm really very available to people, and I talk on the phone to moms a lot. And so if that's something you really want to do, just reach out. You'll find me if you reach out and look. And
awesome.
I love to connect with moms, and I think I feel really blessed actually to have learned from the moms and the babies, and just to be a tiny bit of the help for optimizing connection. And also too, how babies are inhabiting this world and how they're feeling about themselves and their social, emotional, interactional connection, and making that be really meaningful and having fun, and also having good digestive function, and autonomic regulation. So that's really what I'm all about. And we want to thank you. And I really like Minds. When you came up to me and started talking, there was an immediate connection, and I'm so grateful for what you're doing for the community and for parents and moms, and being a great support. So thank you very much for what you're
Thank
doing.
you for saying that. And I feel just as blessed. So I'm super happy to be doing what I'm doing too, and to have you here with me. So it was great. What a great night. We had so many people on here tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure that you liked or loved this post, that you commented here. Tell us what you loved about the Lullaby Earth products, what you want, why you'd love to have a Skype consultation with Michelle. I mean, there's a million reasons why you'd want that for sure. And make sure that you registered for tonight's live stream so that you're eligible for one of the prizes. And thanks for joining us, everyone. It was a wonderful night. Michelle, thank you again for being here. I hope you'll come back again and do this with us. I know that everybody want you back here.
Thank you. Yeah, I do want to come back, and we talked a little bit about maybe doing something about tongue ties in the near future. So
definitely.
I'd be really excited.
I'm thinking a little panel might be in order. Next month is World Breastfeeding Month, and it may be a good opportunity to do a little something. So everybody stay tuned. Make sure you're signed up for those notifications so you don't miss any of the live streams. And you can also go to my events page too, to check out any events coming up. I've got some really good ones. I've got an awesome show on the microbiome coming up in August, as well as one on Skin to Skin with Lisa Palladino. We have some really great stuff coming up.
Good.
So it's going to be an exciting month. I'm really happy about that. And make sure you like Michelle's Facebook page. Go to her Instagram, Tummy Time Method. And there's a link here in the post to just go like Michelle's Facebook page and go to her website too. Okay? So we're going to say good night to everyone. Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I will see you next week. Bye.